After all these years of fighting this, what do you think the end result will be?
Well, the end result is going to be I'm going to win. But I'm not exactly sure what the response of the government's going to be to the evidence that I have. So far the government has been as criminal and as evasive as possible. But I don't know. I mean, the federal courts are set up with this administration's propensity for perjury, and I just, the evidence that I have proves that there's been one more high-level perjury committed. The guy who gave the sworn declaration was Deputy Assistant Director Donald P. Zimmerman. So, and he was in charge of the entire investigative division of the U.S. Secret Service. So, going that far up into the agency, he's like the number 5 guy in the whole agency. It's the 4th or 5th level of authority for the entire agency. So we're not talking about low-level corruption here. We're talking about corruption that is infecting the entire organization.
With your case, though, how did you actually notice that you were becoming a target? Let's go back to when you were younger. When exactly, what started happening that led up to the events of today?
There were a lot of hypnotically induced events that in 1996 became apparent to me. In 96, in January and February 96, the Secret Service subjected me to almost 2 months of consistent V2K attack, the microwave auditory effect attack, where they continuously said things to me that no one else around me could hear. And during that time, they gave me a lot of information. And the information that they gave me was not always accurate, but some of the information that they gave me was accurate. And it caused me to realize that they had been misusing hypnosis on me and subliminal suggestion on me for a very, very long time. When someone, with me anyway, if I think back on an event that occurred, I can figure out whether or not it was hypnosis-induced by the way that it made me feel both during and immediately after that event. And I'm sure I'm not that unique in that ability. It's just something that...
How does it make you feel? How do you know? What feeling do you get?
It makes you feel different. It leaves you with a different feeling afterward, like it was something that was not naturally occurring. I'm not sure that I can describe it. It's just, it leaves you with a really uneasy feeling. And
go ahead.
I don't know. I've actually tried to verbalize how it makes me feel before, and it's very, very difficult. It's like somebody, I just can't. I mean, I probably going to have to...
Well, it just feels very unnatural. It feels very unnatural. And after you do something, it makes you sometimes feel like, hey, that's not something I would have done. Every time I have a thought now, what I do is I question that. because I know how I am, and I question that thought, and I think to myself, that is not something that I would think normally. So I try to walk my way through it now because I recognize it. And sometimes I can recall, if I do get sleep, I can sometimes recall their voices, but I can usually hear them at night, and now I can talk back to them, and they don't like that. I've learned to really adjust around them, but you're right, it's a very unnatural, uneasy feeling. It's something that you wouldn't have done on your own. Outside your judgment.
Right, exactly. And but it's more than that. It's not just that it would be out of character for me. There's actually a physical feeling that is strange. But it's the same strange feeling after each one of those events. And it's not something that you realize when it's happening. You have to think about it afterwards. And it leaves me with this really unpleasant feeling afterward. And it's something that until in 1996 they actually told me about the hypnosis, that it was like a light bulb went on. And I was just like, so that's what's been doing it. And they didn't even identify the events. All they did was tell me that they had used hypnosis on me while I was sleeping. And that from there I was able to figure out what that strange feeling was that had happened to me so many times during my life.
Well, you have to have a very strong personality because you can feel the difference. I've brought this up in past shows. How many people get up in the morning and they go do things and they think it's their own idea? Or they go out and they commit suicide. I've said this before, not knowing that they've been programmed like this while they're sleeping. It's very dangerous and it really needs to be stopped.
It does. And the thing is a lot of people have this erroneous belief that hypnosis can't be used to force someone to do something that they otherwise wouldn't do. And the fact is that widespread myth, that widespread belief is absolutely false. But the government wants people to believe that it's true. And so the government surreptitiously promotes that belief and tries to silence the truth in that regard.
Well, it's one thing if you go into a hypnotist's office and you sit down. I can't be hypnotized that way. But if you're already falling into a certain stage of sleep at night, where your mind is already relaxed, and then the voices come in and you start thinking it's a dream, I think it's very easy to use hypnosis on someone.
Well, the fact is that the subconscious mind never sleeps. It never, ever stops functioning until you die. And that is the part of the brain that hypnosis works on. So the fact that people don't perceive the hypnosis, the really dangerous part of the microwave auditory effect communications is that when it's used to deliver hypnosis, the people that it's being used to deliver the hypnosis to are asleep in their own bed where they feel safe, and there are three elements to hypnosis. One, the person has to be willing to be hypnotized or unaware that the hypnosis is being used on them, which, basically leaves them oblivious to it. Two, they have to be relaxed and they have to feel safe. And then three, the subconscious mind has to be active. Well, the first two, when it's being delivered through somebody's walls,
while they're sleeping,
are covered. And the third one's covered automatically because the subconscious mind never sleeps. It's always aware. So It's a very, very dangerous technology, and one that the Secret Service does not want to be identified as having abused for over